My toxic, entitled mother ruined my bachelorette trip, so I went NC with her and my sister. So, a few months ago, I had a bachelorette trip to Puerto Rico. Two of my bridesmaids were able to go, and my mother and sister came as well. I asked my mom to be the maid of honor since I thought it would help create a closer bond between us as we got ready for my wedding. My whole goal was to have everyone get along and just have a good time. I should have known this was going to be a disaster. A couple of weeks before, my mother started bashing all of my bridesmaids and friends. She was particularly focused on one that was actually going on the trip. I ended up paying for my mom, my sister, and my own flight to ease the burden of my mom having to pay for both her and my sister. The plan was that my mother was going to pay for her and my sister's hotel. My friend reached out to everyone to try and plan something for me without me getting involved. I would like to add that I planned the bachelorette trip as the bride. When my friend reached out to my mom and called her, she wanted to help as much as she could. My friend is actually Puerto Rican, so she was going to be a huge help with this trip. At the time, I did not know about this call. My mother called me at 3 a.m. after having that call with my friend that day to tell me she had not been doing her maid of honor duties because she was observing everyone and everything. She then said that, as the maid of honor, she should be planning the bachelorette trip. I found this conversation odd, but I said okay. I was relieved that she finally stepped up to help me with the trip. My mom did say before the call ended to not tell my friend she talked to me about this, which I did find odd as well. The next day, my friend called me and told me that she wanted to make sure that I had a great bachelorette who remembered it was all about me. She wanted to help me with the excursions I wanted to do, and I told her my mom wanted to plan as well so they could work together. I saw my mother the next day, and she went on a rant that my friend was disrespectful and said she was not letting a little girl control her on this trip, making it seem like something was wrong with my friend and how she did not want to wear her stupid t-shirts during the trip. She started raging and telling me she didn't want to go in the rental car with my friend and wanted to take an Uber. Her words, "Your friend is disrespectful, and I will beat this arse." This automatically started stressing me out. She said she didn't like my friend, that she was disrespectful, and that she has mental issues. I ended up calling my friend and asking her if she could cancel the rental, and she said she could not. I created a group chat for the ones attending the trip, and my friend was asking questions about the activities we were going to do and how excited she was, and my mom and sister were instantly annoyed. My mom was supposed to plan the activities that we were going to do in Puerto Rico. She refused to let my friend do it or participate in helping, and again, my friend is Puerto Rican. Fast forward to the first day of the bachelorette trip. When we arrived, my mom's luggage was missing. It had all of her toiletries. She was upset about it. When we got to the hotel, I let everyone rest since it was an early flight. My friend got there a little later in the day, and I met up with her and my other friend in the lobby. I called my mom and sister to meet us downstairs so we could go with them to replace the toiletries that were lost and to have dinner. As me and my two friends were waiting, my mom came downstairs and stood behind my Puerto Rican friend and said hi to her so low that she could not hear her. I hinted to her that my mom was standing over and behind her while she was sitting on the lobby couch, which I thought was weird. She turned around and said hello. My mom instantly said, "Okay, I am leaving now. Go be with your friends." She literally ran off. My sister did not say a word. When I tell you the energy is off, you can cut the tension in the air with a knife. I asked my friend what was going on with her and my mom because something just felt really off. She told me she did not really know her, so she did not understand why. I decided to just go to the bar with my friends and wait for my mom and sister to get back. 5 minutes later, I get a text from my mom saying, "Shame on you. You betrayed your family. You chose nobody over your own family. I am disappointed, and your sister and I are out of the wedding." I responded and said that I did not, and I asked what the problem was. I was then ignored. I started crying hysterically because I did not want my bachelorette to be like this. My friends tried to cheer me up and took me out to dinner. I decided to let things cool off and try to smooth things over in the morning with my mom and sister. I went to my mom and sister's room and knocked on the door several times. I kept going back to knock on the door. I also called each of them and got no answer. I even waited around the lobby to see if I ran into them, but nothing happened. I called both of them again later in the afternoon, and finally my sister picked up. I asked if they were okay, and if we could squash whatever happened and move forward with the plans. I asked why they did not answer me for hours, and they said they were sleeping, which I knew was a lie because I heard someone look through the peephole when I knocked earlier. My sister said they were not doing any of the activities that I wanted to do, and that they were having lunch and would not tell me where they were. I felt like SHT. My mom planned nothing that she said she was going to plan. My friend even texted and reached out to my mom and apologized for whatever my mom thought she did and called, but my mom did not answer. My friend scrambled and tried to make the best of the rest of the trip for me, while my mom and sister were Mia. The day before we had to leave and go home, my sister reached out to get their plane tickets, which I purchased. I sent it to them and was immediately upset. My mom asked me to put my credit card down for her and my sister's hotel and said she would pay me back. I honestly think that she had no intention of paying me back because she is my mother. They ignored me during the entire trip and now demanded their plane tickets. I decided to change my flight and leave earlier. I couldn't sit on the plane with my mom and sister and act like this was normal. My sister called and asked if I was going to get an Uber to the airport, and I told her no, I have a different flight. My mom finally appeared, called me, and said so many hurtful things. My mom told me I was always disloyal, how I interpreted everything wrong, I overthought, I didn't care about her and my sister, and how I was feeling was wrong. She called me a liar and hung up in my face. My friend started to tell me about the phone conversation that she had with my mom prior. She didn't want to tell me out of respect for my mother, because my mom asked her not to tell me about the phone conversation. My friend said my mom was talking badly about me, my fiancé family, and how I was planning my wedding. My friend was put in this awkward position. Ever since that trip, I have not spoken to my mom or sister, and they did not show up to my wedding. I only get a text from my sister telling me to pay both her and my mom's phone bill once a month, and that is it. Relevant comments. Content Great Grandma. Your mother totally ignored the fact that the bachelorette party was about you and not her. Did I miss something? Why would you pay their phone bills at all? OP. Something I have been doing for 10 years since I was in college. My mother made that my responsibility when I was living with her and going to school. It was a real struggle to do it when I was in college. She never took that responsibility back. Real in a 75. 1. Why did you feel like SHT when you were on your bachelorette week? Your mother and sister were the ones who were acting like spoiled brats. It sounds as though your mother wanted this trip to only be for you, her, and your sister. 2. Stop paying their cell phone bill. They talked SHT to and about you, acted the way that they did on your trip, and skipped your wedding because it didn't resolve around them. They don't get to benefit from your money after treating you like complete and utter SHT. 3. Block them on any and all avenues. You're truly better off without them in your life. OP. I felt like crap because I had good intentions, and I came to the realization that this behavior is never going to change. It was almost like a mourning of the relationship with them for me, because I tried everything to make it work. This was a really important part of my life, and it just got ruined for absolutely no reason. Deleted comment. I added allegedly because, while I don't know OP or their family, I know people who have money to go on trips with friends or buy name brand bags, but suddenly pull the poor card when it comes to someone like OP. Did they really need help, or did their poor planning and prioritizing make an emergency on OP's dime? OP. She has this thing where she will never say she can't afford something, but when the time comes, she is looking for me to pay and feels entitled, and like I should pay because she is my mother. If that makes sense, Betty be liked. Why in the world would you make your mother a maid of honor? This all happened because you're a pushover. Paying for everything, including the phone bill? Even after everything? Please grow a spine. OP. The intention of making her a maid of honor was in the hope that it would make our relationship better and create a better bond. After this fact, I definitely regret making her the maid of honor. Lesson learned though. Demichaos. Honestly, I would have forgotten the plane tickets in my hotel room when I checked out, and then suggested they figure it out since you already paid for everything else, and they were horribly ungrateful to begin with. IDOWorkHereLady. As many suggested, cut them off completely starting yesterday, really, starting with the PR trip. I am assuming they were your only immediate family. No other siblings or a father. What about extended? Has anyone else tried to get involved, like flying monkey style or something? OP. They are my immediate family on my mom's side. No flying monkeys. My dad has not been with her anymore for a long time, but he did encourage me to speak to her. Update. Thank you all for the advice, commentary, and input. I wanted to follow up on the original post that I posted. So far, I have had no contact with my mother or sister. I ended up getting a new phone line and phone number. I texted my sister to let her know I would no longer be paying for her or my mother's phone bill anymore. I then cut off that phone and moved on with my new phone line. I blocked and removed them from all social media as well. Once I did that, my mother decided to appear and attempt to call me at my job, stating that there was an emergency and she needed to speak with me. I told my colleague that I would not be answering the phone, that there was no emergency, and to not answer my work phone line if she did call. After that, she has not made any more attempts. I believe she tried to call to bully me into paying their phone bill and tried to do the guilt trip and shame me like she attempted to do on my bachelorette trip. But I was not falling for it. I also cut off my sister's Apple Music, which I know she would be pissed about. It all felt good. I also found out that my mother added her husband's phone installment plan to the bill a year ago without telling me, and that literally pushed me over the edge. I didn't notice it because it was an installment plan that only brought the bill up to $35. That $35 a month adds up over time. This added up to me paying $500 for it before I cut everything off. I mean, who has their daughter paying for their husband's brand new iPhone 14? How does anyone feel comfortable doing that to their own daughter? This I will never understand. It has been 7 months so far since I decided to go without contact. I can say that my life has been more peaceful, with no drama. It has brought me and my husband closer together. I can truly say I am happy, and am starting to get back to being me again. My relationship with my mom and sister was toxic, and put me in a really dark place. Everything that happened during that trip has opened my eyes, and I am looking forward to better things. I plan on redoing my bachelorette trip the right way.